You're listening to the official Temple University Football Coaches Show with Gelb and Chase on Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP.
11:18, Gelb and Chase here with you, taking you up until noon Eastern time, where Temple Sports Hour will come your way on the main event. And we just played the Temple University Football Coaches Show entrance. It's a little audible, little Omaha action, if you want to reference Peyton Manning there, with all the calls that he was making in the Super Bowls, although it didn't turn out all so well for him. And that's the head coach of the Temple University Football Owls, and that's Matt Rhule. Coach, it's Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. Welcome back to the studio. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. I know you said I was Forrest Gump getting around on all these Facebook pictures. So, have you been looking at my Facebook a lot?
I should have said Twitter. I'm sorry. I enjoy always following you guys on Twitter. You guys do a great job. So.
Well, we appreciate that. And let's get to Robbie Anderson. Obviously, he's no longer with the football team. We heard it was with academics, and he was a big target for you guys last year. Did a whole lot on the football field. Developed a special relationship with P.J. Walker. Where do you go replacing this guy? I know it was National Signing Day last week, and you brought in some big, tall wide receivers. How do you replace Robbie's production on the field?
Well, I think the first thing we do is we start with some of the kids that we have. Ramon DeLoach played as a true freshman, played in 3 games this year, made a great catch at Notre Dame, and got hurt. He's having a great spring so far. So I think we look to Ramon. We look to Khalif Urban, who redshirted last year, who's a dynamic receiver. Sam Benjamin made a diving catch in the Notre Dame game, broke his collarbone, was out for the year. So those 3 kids redshirted last year, and believe me, there's plenty of times where I wanted to pull them out of the red shirts and put them in the game because I know they can be playmakers. They can make a lot of plays. So I think we start with those guys, and then we brought in 5 receivers, and most of them are over 6'2". So we're definitely going to make sure that we have enough weapons.
You have a solid foundation on the offensive line, and you have a solid quarterback with P.J. Walker, and we've seen what he was able to do in his freshman year coming in from Elizabeth, and he's meant a lot to the New Jersey and Philadelphia area now, and he's played pretty well ever since you threw him in there. And he had such a trust with Robbie Anderson, and as a quarterback, you want to trust all your wide receivers, but sometimes those relationships take time to develop. You've been with the Giants, so you've seen the way Eli Manning has brought on wide receivers through that one year that you were there. So with Adam DeMichael now being added to the staff, how do you and him work with PJ to develop that trust with the new wide receivers and PJ Walker?
Well, I think it starts in everything we do. We have, we're there at 5:45, 6 a.m. every Wednesday and Friday. It's not throwing, but it's doing mat drills. Those guys, I know, I can't make them do it, but they
don't like it either, the mat drills.
they definitely
I have a public speaking class. A few of the players don't like the mat drills.
It's kind of a rite of passage. Bernard Pierce was in the office today, and first question he asked me was, hey, how are the mat drills going? And that's you're trying to teach the team, hey, you know what? You're doing the same thing your brothers did 7 years ago, and it's something that we all do and don't like. But that's where the trust starts, because you see, hey, this guy's really busting his tail for me, and then. I see those guys tweeting on Saturdays. They get up, they go out there, they throw together, and that relationship's built over time. It's built over a shared, focus and work ethic, and I see it happening. So I feel very good about where we'll end up.
You brought in 25 guys to join the football program, either in the spring, the summer, or next fall. That spanned 9 states. How important was it to kind of spread out that Temple brand all around the country, but still keep and get some players within Pennsylvania too?
Well, Pennsylvania and New Jersey, they're our home. Last year we signed 20 kids from there. This year I think it was 13. We signed 7 kids this year from Pennsylvania. So we always want to start there.
Yeah.
But the one thing in this conference, and I think it's great for the entire university, is people all across the nation are seeing Temple when they turn on the TV. They're seeing the football games, seeing basketball games. They're seeing that Temple T. And what I found as I went to Colorado, as I went to Texas, as I went to Mississippi, is that the T travels really well. You go there and people recognize it. And whether their initial introduction to Temple might be just Bill Cosby, or it might be John Chaney, it might be eventually they find out what a great university we have, and how diverse of a university we have, and the experiences that they can have here. And so for me, I think it's just a great statement about our school. and your guys' degrees.
Yeah.
But also, manifested itself by getting some really good recruits that had a lot of other options.
What stood out to me, especially during this NFL playoff run, is how physical the Seattle Seahawks were on both sides of the ball. They have big corners, a huge secondary. Cam Chancellor is a beast at safety. He looks like a linebacker. And on offense, they also have big receivers. What I noticed you did, and as well as your coaching staff, was bring in a lot of wide receivers who are 6'2" and taller, and 4 of the 8 defensive backs are 6 foot or taller as well. Are you trying to bring a more physical presence to both sides of the rock?
Yeah, I here's the way I'll term it. You look at boxing, right? The greatest fighters in the world, even they might be the greatest fighter pound for pound, the greatest middleweight usually can't beat the heavyweight champ, right?
Yeah.
And it's because big people beat up on little people.
Chip Kelly line right there.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. So big people beat up on little people. So we're trying to just get our team physical and strong. We're trying to, just get bigger players. And that's not to say that there's not going to be a Khalif Urban at 5'5" running around out there making 1,000 plays. It just means as a big year for us, we wanted to go get bigger and stronger.
Matt Rhule joins us in the studio. Gelb and Chase here with you on the main event. And last year, Coach, you talked about how when you were recruiting, you looked at offensive line and defensive line, and those are the focus areas. This year, when I look at the recruits you brought in, 8 cornerbacks in the safety area as well in the secondary, and also you bring in a few defensive linemen, like a Michael Dogby, who we had on the show last week, and he's only 17, and he has a very high ceiling here at Temple University. He's expected, from what he told us, to play defensive end. How happy are you with bringing in Michael Dogby? Because he looks like a big-time player for this team.
Yeah, it's the third straight year we've brought in the Newark Star Ledger New Jersey Player of the Year, and I think that's been great for us. First was Khalif, and he's going to have a great career. PJ was last year, and he certainly worked out, and now we look forward to Michael this year. I think it's great anytime someone commits to us early and stays loyal to us. He had a chance to go to Vanderbilt, he had a chance to go to Rutgers, and he decided he wanted to be here at Temple. So what we found this year, guys, was that this is a throwing league, and so we had to kind of change, our model based upon what the leagues we had been in, and we had to go be ready to, defend the pass. We had to find guys who can get after the quarterback, find guys who can cover, and we had to make sure on our offensive side of the ball we had guys who could go make plays in the passing game as well. So that's what's cool about this league. It's a different league, and I think it's going to be an exciting brand of football, and we just had to kind of catch up with our recruiting.
You were here as an assistant from 2006 to 2011, and when you took this job, you realized there wasn't much stability at the head coaching position prior to you taking this position. What has sold you on Temple University and the city of Philadelphia? Because you've really come in, you engage well with the alumni, the players, former players, and you seem to really enjoy it here because we see you at events all the time around campus.
Yeah, well, this is my home. That's very simply what it is. I grew up in New York City. I've lived in Pennsylvania. I went to another college in Pennsylvania, but this has become my home. It's become my wife's home, our kids' home, and when something's your home, you want to, do the best you can to say how great it is. I went to an alumni engagement in Los Angeles last year, and they thought they were going to have like 70 people there, and there were 125 people there. It had nothing to do with me.
You've been to Arizona, too.
Yeah, I've been to Arizona. Yeah, I try to go to different places, but it had nothing to do with me. It just had to do with people that had sat in these same halls and gone to school here, and now they were working in the movie industry or whatever they're working in out in California, and they just wanted to go back, have a cheesesteak, and talk about, see the Temple Tea and talk about how much they love this university. I think that's everywhere. I just have kind of tapped into it because I love the university as well. And now one of my missions here, besides trying to coach football, is trying to go out and talk as positively as I can about this university. It helps recruiting and it helps our football brand, but I think it helps the university as a whole.
You just mentioned recruiting, and one of your big skills is recruiting. You're able to bring in some of these athletes. You bring in some 3- and 4-star players in the class of 2014, and you've sent some players onto the NFL that you recruited in the past. Where do those skills derive from? Because you've been able to establish yourself as a pretty talented recruiter.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that. The first thing I'll say I did was I hired tremendous recruiters. Francis Brown, who played for me, coaches for us. Second straight year, he was recognized by Rivals as being one of the top recruiters in the conference. I have a lot, Ed Foley, Tyree Foreman, guys that just do a great job of going out there and really selling what the school's about. I think the thing that we do is we don't try to sell. Some coaches say, hey, I sell myself. We try to sell Temple.
The brand,
and when they come here and they see what's here, I think they buy into it. Along the way, I think they kind of learn to trust us and like us, but they fall in love with Temple. And then the only thing I'll say is you have to be really aggressive to be a great recruiter. That's why I always tell you guys I respect what you guys do, because you guys get people on the show, and I'm like, well, how did they get him? Because you guys are aggressive with what you do, and that we're aggressive about selling Temple.
Well, how does the message change? Because you guys had a down year, 2 wins, and you had a lot of games where we were sitting there and we thought you were going to win, and then down the stretch you weren't able to finish. And you've had a lot of players over the years in the NFL, Rod Streeter, who's in the studio last week with his old Beat by Streets thing, which is hilarious. Bernard Pierce was on campus. You had pot roast in the Super Bowl. Does the message at all change? Do you have recruits coming to you and say, hey, why should I pick Temple when only a year ago you only had 2 wins? Because we all know, we follow this team on a daily basis, that there's going to be some good days to come here for Temple University and your football program.
I appreciate that. I think the thing I try to tell them in terms of our record is, hey, look how far away we were. We had the lead going into the fourth quarter, the last 6 games, and my challenge to each recruit is, can you be the difference? I went to the basketball game on Saturday, and what an unbelievable. First, let me say this: the Chariot Crusade and the fans and the students, that was awesome because it might not have been packed, but it felt packed. And the big thing I saw at the end of that game was they had this unbelievable point guard come down the field, and I think it was Cummings, reached in and just took it from him, and it took
a Temple tough play.
Yeah, and it took guts to do what he did. And I was jumping out of my seat. My point is, that's what I'm telling recruits. Hey, come here and make that play for us in football. So
can become a star.
Yeah, so I think the record has been what it is. I think kids see a chance to make an impact, and then the rest of what Temple is comes into play from there on.
And you brought in a recruit in Aaron Ruff who was getting looked at Michigan State, which is a top 25 team, played in a BCS bowl game this year. And you also, in the American, the most rigorous task is going out there, because we know you could get the Pennsylvania kids. We know you get the New Jersey kids. You know where the coffee shops are, the backdoor roads when you're recruiting those kids like you've told us. But when you go to recruit a kid from Mississippi or Texas or even out west, how do you sell them on the university? Because that's not an easy move to make, to take a kid from down south or far out west, 3 time zones difference, and bring him into North Philadelphia, which is a demanding city to play in, and the fans expect wins.
Right. Well, I mean, I say, hey, here's you have a chance to come play in the 4th largest media market in the country. You have a place with over 333 academic programs. You have a chance. We're one of the few schools in the country where when you're admitted into Temple, you're admitted into the program of your choice. We still offer access. You want to study business? Come study business. Whereas most of the college football programs in the country have their kids in 5 or 6 different majors. I know that was the way it was for me at Penn State. Our football players are in over 30 different majors. We have 25 kids in the business school. So as I start telling that to people, I think parents start to say, wow, what an opportunity to change my life. I can say I went here because they have a shiny helmet, or I can go here and I can go to one of the most diverse campuses in the country. I can go to a financial center. I can do all those things and still play big-time college football. Can I go to the NFL from there? Well, Bernard did. Street did.
And won.
Terrence Knighton did. Danny Klecko was sitting in my office this morning. He's got a Super Bowl ring. Raheem Brock's got a wing shop on campus. He's got a Super Bowl ring. You can fulfill all your dreams here. You can win. You can get a great degree. We have 4 kids, guys, leaving this year with not just 1 degree, but 2 degrees with master's degrees. Wow. So you can get 2 degrees here. And, by the way, you have a chance to go play at the next level. So you tell parents that, and the proof's in the pudding. We have people that are doing those things. Then they come here, they walk around, they see the great students, they see our players, they see the facilities, they see what Philadelphia and Temple really is, and I think they usually say, you know what, I want to come here.
The secondary was a major issue last year. Some of those games were lost because wide receivers were able to get open space and catch touchdowns. You bring in Shaheed Lovett, and he was ranked one of the best JUCO safeties at that level last year. I watch his highlight tape. He is physical. He'll pop you in the mouth.
Big boy, too.
He can cover anybody on the field, and he also comes up to the line of scrimmage. What kind of immediate impact can we see from him?
We're expecting him to make an immediate impact. He's here right now. We also signed another safety, Alex Wells. He's here right now. They're doing those mat drills we talked about. So they're getting ingratiated into our system. They're learning it. They're getting indoctrinated into how we do things. I expect there to be, what I want tremendous competition. Mm-hmm. That's when you start to win. When you say to yourself, hey, I'm playing, whether I've been here for a month or I've been here for 2 years, and if I don't have my A game ready today, I'm not going to just, I have to play. The next guy's going to step in. He's just as good. And when you have that competition, then you have a good team. So we're expecting Shaheed to come in and be ready to play right away and go fight to win a job.
P.J. Walker was thrown into the mix against Louisville, threw a touchdown pass late, and made his first start against Cincinnati on ESPN primetime. And he set a couple of records, able to extend plays with his feet. He's very exciting. He's got a really good arm, can throw the ball deep downfield, and did a lot of really good things. But what are some of the things that he can improve on moving into his sophomore season?
Well, I think the biggest thing he has to challenge himself is the fact that he won 2 games as a starter. And people always talk about the catch at UCF. That kid made that amazing catch. We got the ball right back, and we ran right by them. And he threw a deep ball down the sideline. We catch that ball, we score, and we win that game. And we overthrew that ball. And so it's those moments that PJ has to work on moving forward. He has to, he's got to work on his conditioning so that when he's tired, he doesn't throw a pick because he's lazy. He has to protect the football better. The biggest thing I'll say about PJ is this. It's like anyone else in life. As long as you're willing to admit what you have to work on and you can be self-critical, you can be as good as you want to be. It's the guys that say, like, oh, man, coach is saying this to me, coach is saying that to me. It's guys like me, like, I want to lose weight, and then I go eat pizza, and I say, well, that's not that bad.
Go out and get it done.
Yeah, we lie to ourselves, right? It's guys that say, you know what, I need to get this done. And that's what he's doing right now. He's working really hard. He's working in the film room to fix what he did wrong. And as long as he protects the ball next year, his talent will take over, and he'll run around and make a ton of plays.
Matt Rhule joins us in the studio. A few more questions with him. And, Coach, you mentioned you were at the basketball game, and that was a great, explosive, exuberant atmosphere. And you're always around campus. We saw you last year on Spring Fling doing the Cupid Shuffle, dancing, having some fun there. I know that I know you didn't think it was your proudest moment, but I like the dance moves. But we've seen athletic cuts come to this university, and I don't think it's fair, but people are attacking the football team. We're on iHeartRadio, on WHIP. This is the voice of the students here. We have a ton of students listening. How do you sell the student fan base to continue to come out to games and continue to show pride? Because like we said, we think there's better days to come here for Temple football, and it's unfortunate to see people taking shots at the football team because that's really something that you can't control when they decide to cut the athletic teams. Yeah,
I think anyone that's upset with us, they have a right to be, that everyone can have their opinion. I can say this. I can say that I'm probably one of the few people that's been to multiple baseball games over the years. I've taken my kids to Rhode for years. So even before I was the head coach. So I feel like my wife and my family have tried to support Temple in every regard. I've been to the Temple Student Orchestra even before I was the head coach. I've done all those things because I love Temple. In terms of coming to the games and supporting us, that's something I don't think you do to support us. That's something you do for yourself. College is about those memories and those moments. And what you find is you find a lot of students who didn't, maybe like football or whatever sport, didn't engage in athletics, and then their one tie back to the university after you leave and you get a job and you get a mortgage and you have kids is to maybe turn on the TV once or twice and watch a Temple football game, watch a Temple basketball game. It's about your relationship with your university, your friends. So I say come to the game so you can go tailgate. I say come to the game so you can go watch the game, yell, scream at me. That certainly happens. Yeah. But go have the time of your life and then go tailgating afterwards and then go home and do the same thing when it comes to the theater and the arts. Take advantage of everything this university has to offer. So I don't tell people, hey, come to the games for us. Go to the games because it's fun, because it's exciting. Because I go to the games because my son wanted to see Hooter on his birthday. I love Temple basketball.
And
I
they always went on Hooter's birthday.
And you know what?
Undefeated.
And it's a fun day and it's a great day. So to me, that's why you go. But if anybody's mad at me, mad at us because of decisions that are made, I certainly understand that. I don't want to even devalue their opinion. It's just it's an unfortunate time right now for that in terms of us.
It is, and I agree with you. I want to play one little clip for you. It was Kevin Clark was on our show back in September. I just want to get your take about a certain issue, possibly about leaving Lincoln Financial Field and maybe getting a football stadium on campus. This is what Clark had to say, and I thought it was very encouraging words about your program.
Well, when you look across the country, every school that doesn't play on campus would love to play on campus, and we just like those other schools. I mean, I think it brings a lot of value to be able to have your students come out to their dorm and go directly to the football stadium on a Saturday morning. I also think it brings a lot of value to have your alumni coming back on a weekly basis to really see and experience that energy level that football Saturday brings to a campus. So at the end of the day, yes, we would love to have a facility on campus, but we have a new president, and the president has his priorities, and we got to make sure we fall within that pecking order, to be able to invest in the dollars it would take to have a stadium on campus. We are happy with the Eagles. We are happy with the situation we have. But at the end of the day, it would be great if we could have that stadium on campus.
So I listened to that, and that was Kevin Clark, the athletic director of Temple University, and he's saying he's happy with Lincoln Financial Field, but you could tell that he really wants this stadium on campus, and that's something that you can't control. They have to work that out with President Theobald. But would you like to see a stadium on campus? Do you think that could benefit this football program?
Well, yeah, I think it would benefit the football program. More importantly, I think it would benefit not only the campus, but the area around it. I mean, you're talking about a capital infusion into North Philadelphia. I mean, North Philadelphia, one of the last true financial impacting decisions that was made here was the stadiums. You know, they had the Baker Bowl here in North Philadelphia, had Connie Mack Stadium in North Philadelphia. Whether it's the restaurants, whether it's the subway, whether it's the parking, the people that had paid for parking, when those stadiums left and everything went back down into South Philly, North Philly was really impacted. So for me, I think the link is great. I love being there. But if we could ever bring this back to campus, as Kevin said, to get people, alums to come back to campus, to spend their dollars here on our campus, to see what's here, to bring outside people who maybe don't have a misconception of what our campus looks like. I fight that misconception, guys, every day. People don't know how beautiful this campus is, how great it is, how
Morgan
safe
Hall.
you feel. They don't know until you get them back.
You're right.
I fight to get them back for recruiting, but imagine if a football stadium could bring, on a bad day in a football stadium, you have 20,000 people there, right? And you're complaining about the football crowd. Man, we only have 20 grand. Well, 20 grand walking around paying their dollar here, that's investing in yourself. And I think it also invests in North Philadelphia, which is something that I believe we're the third largest private employer in the city of Philadelphia. Our university is Temple. That's something that we should be proud of, how we try to support the city and the city supports us. Well, I think a football stadium would also add to that symbiotic relationship with us in the city.
Yeah, the football stadium would benefit this program in a multitude of ways. Looking at what's already here, the practice facility at the Pavilion has really helped this program, and so has the practice facility on 10th and Diamond. When you're talking to these recruits, you have a beautiful facility. You can go indoors at the Pav and practice inside whenever you want. How has that helped your pitch?
Well, it's like anything else. When kids are trying to make a decision of where they're going, they do the pros and cons list, right? They look, do they have this? Do they have that? UConn has an indoor. Does Temple have an indoor? Yes. Boom, check that off. And then eventually it comes down to the things that really matter. These guys have 2 helmets. Do you have 2 helmets? Yes. These guys have a state. And you just want to make sure that you have all those things that people are looking for. And then when that's done, now we'll get to the crux of the matter, which is the best place for you. As long as you don't have everything that everyone else has, then it's like you guys taking a job someday and, well, we have a 401k, they don't. Well, which job are you going to take, man? You're going to go to the one that has everything that you need for your life. It's the same thing in recruiting. It's the same thing when you're deciding if you want to come here and play the flute, man. Do they have everything that I need to be successful?
Does it even come down to the little things such as wearing a different jersey and pants and helmets every single game? Because you look good, you feel good. And as teenagers, I know when I was in high school, we were rocking the Nike jerseys. I like rocking the Nike jerseys. I don't want to wear a Russell. I want to wear those brand names. The little things like that, jerseys and et cetera, help this program.
Yeah, I think they absolutely do. I think they help you in recruiting first and foremost, right? Because people want to go somewhere where they feel like it's big time and football is important, or whatever you're interested in is important. And so when you see somewhere where I'm sitting there, I'm trying to figure out the helmet. Guys, I can't even dress myself. I'm trying to figure out the helmet and jersey combinations.
That's Mrs. Rhule's
job.
Yeah,
she's good at that. So, but they've got that figured out in terms of, hey, this is, they've got to figure out this place has this place has that. Okay, these guys have a little bit of juice and swag with how they do things. Maybe I'll go check it out. Then I don't think that makes the decision. I think it just gets you in the door.
Just helps
man.
out. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, you guys are sponsored by Under Armour, and you guys have some very nice gear. Rich Berg's here,
Under Armour's awesome.
the great PR man, and he has a nice jacket. You have one. Where's our gifts? Are we getting any Under Armour gear coming?
You show up for 6 a.m. mat drills. You do those a week. Maybe I'll hook you up.
Okay, maybe we got to go 6 a.m. We'll be doing the mat drills and make a nice package off of it. I got to ask you about this because we talked about this a lot throughout the show. And Matt Rhule joins us in studio. A few more questions with him, and then we'll let him run out of here. Bowl game next year. We think it's a possibility. We look at this team and we say they could have easily won 5 or 6 games this year, and it's about teaching kids how to finish, and that's the toughest part about your job is getting these kids to finish these games. Could you see Temple maybe in a bowl game next year?
Oh, I'm expecting it. I mean, I'm absolutely expecting us to go to a bowl game. I wake up every day at whatever time I wake up, working towards that, and I push our team to work that way. You're exactly right. It is hard to change that expectation level. Sometimes it's hard to overcome some of the negativity, all the negative things you hear. But I think one thing that's happened in our team right now is they've realized, you know what, I've got to determine my own fate in my life, and so I've got to set a goal. So we're definitely set our goal in the bowl game. If we don't make it, we'll pick ourselves back up and we'll, attack it the next year. But we are certainly recruiting like we're a bowl team. And I know we're certainly working in the offseason like we're a bowl team. Now we just have to go play like a bowl team.
Klecko won a Super Bowl ring in the NFL. Rod Streeter is one of the Oakland Raiders' top targets. Bernard Pierce was just a vital piece of the Baltimore Ravens' run to the Super Bowl last year. And obviously Terrence Knighton, he was getting a lot of face time because he was the guy in the middle in that defensive line that had to focus on stopping Marshawn Lynch. Is there anybody in the senior class that's about to graduate that might have a serious chance of playing at the next level?
Yeah, I think we have a couple. I think Kenny Harper's kind of a utility guy that can do a lot of things. And what you find out at the next level is you have to do a lot of things. There's the superstars, and then there's the guys that can kind of, hey, I can plug
have
that
to play
hole, I can
special
plug that
teams,
hole.
too.
And that's what Danny Kleckett was talking to me about the other day, saying, hey, you know how I made my way here? You need a fullback? I can do that.
And he also made his way like that in the NFL.
Absolutely.
He was a blocking fullback and even catching some passes from Manning and Brady.
Whatever they needed him to do, he did. And so that's how he's able to have a long career. And I think Kenny and a couple of our other seniors maybe have a chance to, if they play well, to get into a camp, show what they can do, and then from there, they're the type of hardworking, industrious guys, and they truly represent Temple that once they get into a camp, it's going to be hard to get them out of there.
Final one here before we let you go, as we're talking to Matt Rhule in studio. Penn State makes a new hire. At times, people thought you're a good friend and former coach here at Temple University. When you were assistant under his staff, Al Golden was good to go there. It's James Franklin, and I think that's a good hire. As you know, you're a Penn State alumni, and they're trying to rebuild the image of the football program there with all the unfortunate stuff that they suffered under the end of Joe Paterno and then also with Jerry Sandusky. And they bring an outsider in there after Bill O'Brien, who's another outsider, but James Franklin is a Pennsylvania native man. How do you like the Franklin hire? Because you do play them on the schedule this year.
Yeah, I don't know James. I've talked to him a couple of times in the years over coaching, but certainly what he did at Vanderbilt was truly impressive, to sort of resurrect that program and win and win in a tough SEC. So I think all signs would point to the fact that he'll recruit well, he'll coach well, and he certainly brings a lot of energy. And so I look at him doing a good job at Penn State.
Well, we appreciate a few minutes today. You were great. I appreciate you coming in and giving us almost 30 minutes there on the air. We all know that you could talk, so we really appreciate a few minutes. And thanks so much, and we'll see you again soon, and best of luck.
Yeah,
Coach,
thanks,
I love
guys.
the foundation that you're building. I think bright days are ahead for this football program, and it's a lot because of what you're doing.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate
Matt
it, man.
Rhule, head football coach of the Temple Owls, join us in studio. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after these short messages.